folks are ready, or whenever the crew's ready.
Turn the mic on.
Deal?
Unmute your mic and we're ready to go.
Okay, good idea. Looks like I'm sitting on it. That might not be the ideal. Hopefully I haven't damaged something. Okay. So I'm going to pass some cards around. If you'd like to take some, I'll take one, please do. Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming on this wintry night. We've had a lovely December summertime to welcome us here. So my name is Alexander Mallon, and I am an astrologer and an intuitive, quite a bit more than that. I'll give you a little bit of rundown about my background in a second, but yeah, come back to the number one screen just so we can have a welcome screen. How many people are here at Menla for the first time? Oh wow, gosh. All right, well you've got the beauty of the snow and the fog. And if you haven't been here before, you really should come back during all seasons. Menla's an incredible physical space, as you all know. I'm sure you know the Dalai Lama has blessed this physical space and stayed here a number of times, as well as our wonderful Bob Thurman. So it's a beautiful, beautiful environment. And I think that Panther Mountain, right above us here, is one of the more beautiful environments, one of the more beautiful mountains of the Catskill Range. And it's a great hike if you haven't done it. I've done it many times. And Bob and I were recounting a few years ago when he was so courageous as to bushwhack a path down the bowl here, the ski bowl, if you will, of the mountain, which is really quite totally wild. And that was quite an event. We had a number of people. We wound up getting split up. Bob's 4 or 5 went one way with a trail that he had blazed with cairns, and the 13 of us went another way. And there were people who were actually sweating a little bit there for a couple of hours. Will they make it back alive? I assured them I lived right down the road at the time. I did live right down the road at the time, and we did get back alive, obviously, but a few people were definitely nervous. So this space is an incredible space. I really have a love, not only having resided here physically on this mountain, but Menla itself is a very, very special place, a very sacred place. Some of you might have read a bio or not, but I'm also an avid amateur astronomer, as well as being a seasoned astrologer. I'm proud to say this past June I celebrated my 4th decade of practice. And I began when I was 15 with clients who are now my age. So it's an interesting turn of the wheel for all of us. And as an astronomer, I certainly have a passion for the Catskill Range and for Menla property. I've set up scopes here a number of times. In fact, you'll see a couple of pictures of a few of the scopes I've got. And so, as I go along and sort of build a storyline, you'll get the sense of my background in the hard sciences. Although, they're decades gone now in a way, much to my folks' chagrin. I was raised Catholic, so, I think my artillery commander father probably was very distressed at my career choice, one could imagine. I can guarantee that's probably the truth. So it's been an interesting journey for all of us these past years. And now we'll talk about, of course, what's happening for 2016, the general energy of it, the general groove. What I will say, I'm not usually so comfortable being with lights and cameras and action and podiums and such, so I'm more comfortable kind of down and dirty. And some of you know I'm even prone to change light bulbs before my productions. But these guys are so wonderful helping me out today. How many people have any background with astrology? I'm curious, a show of hands. Just a few. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing art form. It's really a parascience. 90% of the astronomers that I've grown up with, people who have been my compadres and compatriots until they find out what I do professionally, of course, think of astrology in a way that is most generally unflattering. but they don't have an understanding of what it really truly is, the art form that it is. Astrology certainly is not a hard science, so 1 plus 1 does not always equal 2. It's an interpretive art science, art form. But that's true of medical practice as well, which is very much also not necessarily 1 plus 1 equals 2. Or as I say to my clients and students, 400 milligrams of Motrin does not cure cramps for every lady. So, that's kind of a good thing to keep in mind as we go along here. I'll try to be a little more brief with my tongue-in-cheek presentation for this evening. And I do have a number of charts that people who are fortunate to assign a sign-in sheet. I'm going to rip through some charts here, individual charts. And if you did sign the sign-in sheet, you don't necessarily have to have the chart put up on the screen for people to see. And if you object to that, please let me know. Particularly the way I do what I do, it won't be fluffy. It'll be kind of right to the heart of the matter. So, welcome to this New Year's retreat. I want to say that this year of 2016, and I don't want to say that I look at it in a calendrical way, even though I'm an astrologer, astronomer, and of course, I look at things in a very earthy way. Capricorn I am. In fact, my birthday's in about a week. And I want to grab things and pull them down to earth. And so when I began my study of astrology, it really was, as most astronomers, budding young astronomer, telescope builder I was, to argue more intelligently against this nonsense of astrology, this thing that just seems, to belong next to the funnies in the newspaper. And so I began to dig into astrology, and within 2.5 weeks I said, now wait a second here, there's something rather odd to this, because it seems to have some real verity and truth. And 2.5 months later I was practicing. It was just like, okay, this is what you're meant to do. Because it all sort of came together. My love and passion for the night sky, my passion for nature sciences and for the environment, and this archetype to understand character structure, who we are, what underlies the becoming of a being, the becoming of a consciousness, the becoming of a person. So we're going to cover some of those topics, at least in this little presentation. And I will say, I will be seeing private clients here at definitely a bit of a reduced rate from my usual. And also I'll be doing a Saturday intensive that can really only handle 6 or 7. We'll really get into people's charts more in depth. So Astro Weather of 2016. As the writing says here, the year of Born to be Wild turns visionary generator. The Born to be Wild generations come of age. This time of the Uranus-Pluto synod, this Uranus-Pluto arrangement is coinciding with a cultural revolutionary theme. You can read the rest. Activist revolutionaries may be storming the global stage during this transition, and this will open up another, perhaps, principal shift in our collective journey, collective societal revolution and evolution. But I kind of like the little reference here, the forces of the 80s and the 60s are kind of all coming together in terms of us, like the 60s song says, exploding into space here. That's kind of the nature, I think, of 2016. We've had quite a run, quite a ride. All of us know that, the last 5 to 10 years. In professional astrological lingo, astrologers were looking at the motion of Pluto, because Pluto cycles generally coincide with major, massive cultural change. And of course, Pluto, we'll talk a little bit about in the presentation. Some of you might know that we've actually visited Pluto more recently. So that's another sort of milestone that's occurring.